I got inspired to do this video last week when I was with my friends on their dressage competition. If you haven't had the opportunity to see this vlog, I'm going to link it somewhere over here so you can go check it out if you want. And it was because I asked them, of course, what their riding goals were for their competition. And one of them answered, I want to be on the top 3 and it would be better if I'm second. And the other one told me, I don't want to be last. And I was like, okay. In my head I was like, that doesn't work like a goal, really. For me, why are these two goals a mistake? Because when you're setting a goal, you always have to think about the SMART acronym. So I put it down here. Most people have heard about it. If you haven't, so SMART, it means specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time framed. That's what you always have to think about when you are dealing with a goal, when you're setting a goal. So let's think about, let's study my first friend's goal, for example. When she told me she wanted to be on the top 3 or even better, second. If we study it with the SMART acronym, is it specific? Kind of. Not really. She's talking about specific places on the scoreboard, third, top 3 or second, but it's not really specific in a way where she's saying, okay, I want to be third between this many other riders. Or when you are asked, when you look for something specific, when you are setting down a goal and you want to be specific, you should be thinking about what is it that you want to achieve, why do you want to achieve it, where are you going to achieve it, and when are you going to achieve it. So that's the way that you're going to be really specific. So I can understand that maybe when I asked her what are your goals for this competition, that she didn't give me all this information, like all these specific whys, why, when, where, who, whatever. But I'm sure that she didn't have it anyways. If I had asked her for something more specific, it would have been difficult for her to give it to me. So try and be really specific about your goals when setting a goal. Is it measurable? Kind of, again. So she wants to be on the top 3. Okay, so between how many participants? Because if she wants to be on the top 3 but there are 3 participants, she's last. And just let me give you a story, something that I did last year. So last year I started my journey on goal setting, and for, I don't know, 5-6 years I had been competing on the same 2 levels. And when I started putting down my goals, like writing them down and just going for them, in 1 year I went up 2 levels. And once when I was going up one of those levels, of course the people in my barn, they were like, yeah, Maria, go for it, etc. And they were, and yeah, it's like, it's nice. People say that in a nice way when they say, yeah, come back with gold, just gotta get on the top 3, etc, etc. And I was like, I remember that I answered, I'm going to be, the worst place I will be is second. It's like, there's no way I will go beyond second place. And they were like, wow, you are so brave, you are so, like, you really believe in yourself and confident on your horse and everything. And I was having a laugh because we were 2 of us on that riding competition that day. So of course I couldn't have been worse than second. Yeah, well, I could have been eliminated, but well, that was not something that I thought about. But it all depends on how people see things. It's like when I told I'm going to be second, the worst I will be is second, they were like, wow. And by being second, I would have been last. So it's not really measurable to say I'm going to be on the top 3. And even worse when you say you're going to be on the top 3. And maybe it's better if you're second. So, and what happened to my friend last week is that she was competing against several riders. I'm not sure how many. I think there were 12 of them or something like that. And many of the competitors came from the same barn, and we think that they had a problem with their truck or something like that because they didn't get there. And she was finally going against like half or even less of the people that should have been on her competition. And what would have happened if like there had been only 3 of them left? She would have been third. Or if there had been only 2 of them left, she would have been second. Would she have been happy to be last? Because that's what it means? I don't think so. So it is important, yeah, when you are setting a goal to be to make it more measurable than that. There's my kitty that wants to come. So yeah, that's about the measurable part. Is it attainable? That's another thing. It's like you don't know who you are competing against. So maybe she believes in herself, she believes on her horse, she knows that she's a good rider, but she doesn't know who she's competing against. You can have like riders against you that have horses that are more experienced. They have the means, they have the ways. You don't know how many times these people are riding every day. Maybe even if they are not on the pro levels, if they are on the amateur levels, maybe they are riding every day, maybe 2 horses a day. And it's like, I think my friend rides once a week. So okay, she wants to be third, but against whom? And she doesn't know it. She doesn't know who these people are. She doesn't know what their history is. Another little story, a little anecdote. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I don't know, I was teaching one of my riders, and I also ride this horse. And I had been teaching the horse before how to do walking period on the forehand. So he had to leg yield to one of the legs. So I showed him always on the same place where to do it, how to do it, etc. And the horse really got it. It was clear for him. He knew how to do it. Like, okay. So 2 weeks ago, I was teaching this time the rider on this horse. And I decided to teach him how to do these walking periods, reverse periods, I don't know how do you call them, sorry. And so I showed him how to do them. I gave him the aids, I gave him all the instructions. When he was on the left side, it went perfect. Like, okay, the horse, he understood. Because I also asked him to ask the horse at the same place that I asked the horse to do it. So the horse understood what he had to do. And when he came the other way around, the rider just got really mixed up on his aids, and he asked the other way. It was like he should have been asking with the right leg to yield, and he was finally asking with the left leg to yield. But even though he was not asking on the right way, the horse did it. And he did it perfectly. And it was just because the horse knew what he had to do. Like, I know that it's not good that the horse doesn't really listen to the rider, but it just shows that when a horse is really well educated, when he knows his job, he's going to do it even though the rider is not asking on the right way. So maybe these people that my friend was competing against, maybe they have a horse that has gone on St. George level, and that it's maybe an oldie, and so they bought him to be able to start riding, competing. And so even if the rider rides like a couch potato, he's going to do, the movements are going to be of a very good quality because he knows his job, he knows what he has to do. And so it's pretty difficult to say, okay, I'm going to be second, I'm going to be third. So measurable, no, sorry, attainable, not really. Not really, you cannot know. Is it relevant? When you ask about relevancy, it's more with like, why is this important? So I think that when people go for a goal that it's a position goal, I'm going to be top 3, second place, I don't want to be on the last place. It's, why is this important? Because is it just something like an ego thing, because I want to, because it sounds good, because it looks good to go back home with a medal, or because they don't want to be ashamed to be last? But it's the same thing as with Attainable. You don't know who you are riding against. So if it's important for you, the placing where you're going to finish, if you have been going out on this dressage level and you know what type of notes you're going to get for each figure, you can go for a better note on a specific figure. For example, if you always get 5 or even at the best a 6 on 12 meter circle, because they're always telling you too big, too small, not round enough, you know that you can get a better note if you really do a 12 meter circle. So you can work on that. That's something that's going to help you. And then when you are working on that, you can know on each figure where you can gain more points, and then this would give you a better note at the end. So that would be easier, it would be more smart to give you this type of goal, to set this type of goal for a riding competition. And last but not least, of course, is it time framed? It's okay, so yeah, when I asked her what's your goal for this competition, she said top 3, or better still, second place. So it was kind of time frame because I had asked her for this competition. But what if I had asked her what are your riding goals? Maybe she would have replied the same thing, and then it wouldn't have been time framed. It's like, okay, you want to always be top 3, and even better if you're second, and so you never want to be first. Like, yeah, it's important to give you all this. The more you're specific about your goals, the more little details you give on the goal, the better you're going to be able to work on them. And you also have to give yourself, set these types of goals that are going to help you grow as a rider. As I was saying, if you go for a goal of getting better marks for certain kind of figures, of course it's going to help, because it's going to make you grow as a rider, because you're going to have to work on those specific figures to make them better. And then in working on those specific figures, all your riding is going to become better. It's normal. So yeah, I think it's important to be careful when you give yourself those goals. Always think about the SMART acronym. Always go for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time framed. And try and not compare yourselves to others, because you don't know what their history is. You don't know where they come from. You don't know who the horses that they are riding are. You have no idea. And maybe it's just because maybe they have the same type of horse. Maybe they ride the same times as yourself. But you know, some people are, for some people it's easier to ride than for others, and so maybe she's just a better rider. It's a better rider, but you don't know. You have no idea. So yeah, all this just to say, put in some time on your goal setting for your riding activity, because it can help you so much to grow and to become a better rider for yourself and for your horse. And it just depends on you, and it depends on the time that you give it to set a SMART goal. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It would help me a lot to know what types of videos you like. And I'm going to try and make more of goal setting, because it's something that I'm very passionate about. So see ya on another video. Bye!